Strength training for bodybuilding. Does it matter? Does it work? Do you need it? On a channel named Stand Strength, my answer better be yes, and it is. If you are training solely for the purpose of hypertrophy, you still need strength work. Now, with that being said, strength work does not mean powerlifting. Strength work does not mean low rep sets. Strength work means developing strength. Strength is not exclusive to powerlifting. It's not exclusive to low rep sets. And for the most part, it's actually pretty bad for it. If you want to build strength, you need to do reps. One of my personal favorite implementations of a linear progression or a linear periodization is from Fast Lift's his 8-5-3 system. It's something that I've used to great success. You take a variation, a close variation of a certain compound lift, and such as, let's say for your deadlift, you do stiff leg deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts, and then for your squat, you do high bar or maybe even front squats. Then for your bench, you do something like close grip bench, Larson press. And you go through this periodization where you're doing eights. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are making the mistake of thinking that strength is best built in the 1 to 6 rep range. Not true. That hypertrophy is best achieved in the 8 to 12. A little bit more true, but it's not the complete picture. And then from 12 to 15 onward, 12 to 20 onward, you're just doing endurance work. And that is true to an extent, but not really. The thing is, if you were, let's say if you are strength oriented, strength focused, most of your training will not be singles. Most of your training will not be doubles. Most of your training will not be triples. Most of your training will not be low rep. And if you are a beginner, this is especially true. As a beginner, you need to make sure that you are doing kind of like a sweet spot of reps where your technique is good, and the load is relevant and like it actually provides a stimulus as far as getting you stronger and getting you bigger, but it's not overkill. You're not pushing so close to failure because the quality of your form is being put on a pedestal when you are training for strength. Now, training for size, no, you want to take things closer to failure with still good form, but you're okay. You're allowed to kind of take things to where the rep slows down and it becomes a bit more of a grinder. In training for strength, you don't want a grinder. You don't want to go so close to failure all the time, every set. That's not going to benefit you. And going back to the idea of low reps is strength work, that's not true. So on my channel, I made a video talking about rep ranges. And one of my friends, Basement Bodybuilding, Landon, he made a video talking about rep ranges as well. And this is kind of where I kind of got inspired to make this one to kind of add to that. When I made my video talking about like my reps and my rep ranges for certain movements, it depends on a couple things. One, the movement in and of itself and the intention behind it. Strength work, the first movement of the day, the heaviest movement of the day, the movement to which you are applying the most progression as far as load goes, yes, it is going to be lower in total reps than it is anything else in the program, but it's not going to be low reps all the time. Generally speaking, I don't really recommend that. When it came to my recommendations, even for strength work, there's a varying degrees to it. When it comes to my personal recommendations, I think that the low rep range for bodybuilding is 4 to 8. I think that's it. I can't really see much benefit going below that. When it comes to the deadlift, there's definitely utility in that. But that's whether or not you as a bodybuilder decide that deadlifts are useful to you. Me, someone who truly believes in the value of deadlifts for hypertrophy as well, will argue for its necessity in your program. But at the same time, I also can recognize that it's by no means a requirement. I know, like I just said, it's necessary. I mean, it's necessary in my worldview, but whether or not that's the case is really just, are you getting results from it? Are you getting results that you like from it? Does it get in the way or does it actually help you? These are things that you kind of can decide on your own. Like, you don't need to go onto someone else's channel. You don't need to read a book and find all the reasons why something is good for you or bad for you when it comes to your training program. It can be it should be tailored to you and your own training decisions as they pertain to you. I like deadlifting, and here's the thing. Strength work is incredibly viable for hypertrophy. And when it comes to whether it is optimal, it kind of depends on whether or not we're talking about the same thing. If you're talking about like singles, doubles, triples, low rep sets, no, that's not really going to do much for you. If you're talking about the 3 to 6 rep range, this is a bit better. 3 to 6 will definitely build size. It definitely will. But if you were to tell someone, okay, you want to build the most amount of size possible, what are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them to do 3 to 6 reps for all your exercises? Are you going to tell them to do 3 to 6 reps for all of your sets? Probably not. Even for myself, when I am trying to get more volume and get more intensity, and not this intensity in terms of percent of 1 rep max, I mean like actual like going hard with a movement, I'm going to do more reps. I'm going to take a set closer to failure. So one thing that I don't know why I feel like this is something that I feel like most people just haven't heard, or maybe it's something that we just kind of forgot, is the purpose of a rep range. If you can do, like, let's say with the 4 to 8 reps, right? If you can do more than 8 reps, it's too light. If you can't do at least 4 reps, it's too heavy. You want to be somewhere in between. You want to be hitting that point right before failure within this range. And that's kind of why when it comes to workout programs and progression schemes, it's really just, okay, once you hit a certain threshold, once you hit a certain performance marker, you go up in weight because you've hit that. That's why the range is there. Let's see if I can, if that thing, if, like, I don't know if you guys see this, but there's a fly and it's a pretty big ass fly. So if I catch that motherfucker, anyway, so when it comes to your training, when it comes to strength work, is it necessary for bodybuilding? 100% yes, in my opinion. As a strength biased lifter or someone who is interested in strength, I truly believe that yes, it is necessary. Yes, it is like completely useful because the amount of tension you're exposing your muscles to is just greater than what you can get on something else. Now, when it comes to, let's say, range of motion, like, we have opened ourselves up and come to the idea and recognition that when it comes to range of motion, you don't need a full range of motion from one exercise. You don't need to take a muscle through the full range of motion for one exercise. You don't need to take your hamstrings to a full range of motion with a deadlift, because then you would just literally be doing nothing but deficits at the biggest deficit you possibly can. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is that you're going to use multiple exercises to accomplish that. Same thing can apply to other concepts that are really vital for hypertrophy. If you want to maximize the tension you're exposing your muscle to, you're going to need to use strength work, because that's what allows you to expose that muscle to the highest degree of tension. Now, when it comes to taking the most amount of tension you possibly can through a specific range that the muscle can go through, certain movements will be limited by the nature of the implement you're using. There's a reason why dumbbell bench pressing is so useful. It's because the dumbbells allow you to go past the range of motion that a bar would, because obviously the barbell is going to meet your chest. When it comes to something like a leg press or a Smith machine squat, it's probably likely that you can go a bit deeper, but you're not getting the same amount of load that you would on a similar movement. So when it comes to certain things, when it comes to overall tension of the muscle, when it comes to taking a muscle through a more complete range of motion, when it comes to taking your muscle close to failure, different exercises do better. In the same way, different rep ranges suit different exercises better. And then finally, when it comes to strength work, the topic of today's video, you getting stronger is the most important part of strength work. And here's the thing, when it comes to a lot of exercises in your program, they need to get stronger over time. And then with that being said, I'm going to end the video there. Strength work, is it necessary for hypertrophy? Yes. Is strength work powerlifting? No. Is strength work low rep sets? No. Is strength work the only thing you need to do to build muscle? Hell no. But should it be there? In my opinion, my answer is yes. That's it for today's video. My name is Carl King, stancetrain.com. If you would like to buy a workout program from me, the link is in the description below. Or if you would like to support the channel, you can go on my Patreon or buy me by buying some merch. Thank you. Have a good day.